All right, now let's think about a small example in PHP include, right? All right, so imagine that I have a PHP file. I named that PHP file as a footer, right? I wanted to include my footer in every HTML file or web page, right? So imagine that I have created a footer PHP file, something like this, right? So just a copyright um, information, just a one paragraph. I wanted to echo it or include it in every HTML file. And imagine that I have another HTML file, or the PHP file, sorry. I include my content something like that. I have HTML tags like welcome to my home page, that's the header one, and then I have two paragraphs, and I wanted to include my footer after this section, right? So what I can do is I can insert a small PHP script like this. I use the include keyword, and I refer to the footer.php file, right? Now remember, all these two files are located in one of my folders. That folder is this is the folder I am using, right? So you can see that the two files there. Now let's run it. Now I'm going to use exam local server. So I start my Apache local server there. You can actually upload it to your Mercury if you want a Mercury server, and then run it, right? So what I will do is, now I will run my main HTML or welcome HTML file. So if I run my welcome HTML file, the output actually, so I just type localhost slash my file path welcome. So you can see now my web page looks like this. So this is the footer that I have included. So these are the other sections. So it automatically included this footer file and executed it here, right? So that's one of the examples I wanted to mention. Okay, so I have another example. So this time I try to use a web page with a let's say a menu file that include the menu file, right? Now imagine I created a menu PHP or HTML file like this. So I include all the menu items here, um, like home page and other related links. And in my main HTML page or PHP pages, other pages, I wanted to include the menu as a menu here on the top. Here I am how so I'm using actually div element so that the menu easily can be styled with CSS later. So I just included the PHP script here inside the div element. So I save it in my htdocs document folder under welcome to, and then the other include file as a menu PHP. So if I run this PHP script or welcome to PHP script, so I will get a result something like this now. Okay, so you can see that it has been included, the menu PHP included in my main HTML file now, or PHP file now. So I can provide the link for each and every web page. So if I want to do any modification to my menu PHP file, I just need to actually do some adjustments here, right? So I don't need to do it multiple times, right? So that's my that's another example how to include a external another PHP file. Okay, let's think about another example. In this example, I have a PHP file. In that PHP file, I have defined two variables, right? One is called color and another one is called the car, right? So I save it as was PHP. Now I can actually include these variables in a PHP file, and I can include that PHP file in another file, right? So here I have assigned two values to each of these variables, and I save this as a was or variable, so was.php, and my main PHP file. Here I have a welcome3 PHP file. So I just include the file first, and then I use that file in a echo statement. I use that variables which I included in this file here, so I can use that variable. You can see here color and car is included in this file. So if I run this, you can see my output now looks like this. So welcome to my home page. I have a red, that's the color, BMW, that's the car, right? So I can pass the variable, so I can use the variables included in my include file as well. So that's another example of include. Okay, now let's think about the difference between include and require. Right, so the difference between include and require. So in the require statement um, is also used to include a file into the PHP code, right? So I can include, I rather than include, I can use require. However, there is one big difference between include and require, as I mentioned before. So when a file included with the include statement and a PHP cannot find it, the script will continue to execute. Okay. For example, now let's say now here I have was PHP, right? So let me change this, and let's say I um, I include like no file exist dot php, right? So imagine that I have that um, some another file, and then if I run this file, um, so you will get you can see it's a warning sign, but still it's running, right? So I have a but the rest will not going to display, okay? um, but if you do the same example using a require statement, the echo statement will not be executed because the script execution dies after the require statement return a fatal error. Right now here in this case it actually executed right up to here, right? I have a echo statement executed, but this will disappear because the file that include these two variables no longer exist, right? So for example, if I remove this and let's say I want to include, I want to use require statement, right? So if I change this and then if I run the script, now let me take the file, right? So you can see here there's a fatal error appears, unquote error, failed opening the required this file, okay? So that's the difference between the include and require as an examples. So remember, as always, use the include when the file is not required, an application should continue when the file is even not found. You can use the require command when the file is required by the application, right? If it is critical, then you can use the require statement, right? So that's the difference between these two statements.